I'm gonna walk you through how I made $47,856 in 1 hour when I was just getting started. My name is Dan Henry. I made $9.2 million from my first ever online offer, and I've made $35 million total. I speak all over the world teaching people how to grow online brands. Now, this is a 4-step method I'm gonna walk you through today that takes advantage of what I call the herd effect. Alex Hormozi just used this to make $105 million in a day on his launch, and it's something that I use all the time to have crazy days. I've been doing it for the past 13 years. It's something I'd love you to have for your business. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I did a webinar and I did $150,000 in just 1 hour. It's not $105 million, but I'll take it. And what this proves is that you can use this whether or not you're just starting out or you're a big Hormozi type influencer. All right, I'm gonna fill in each one of these boxes and show you the step-by-step method, but first we must understand what makes this so powerful, the herd effect. So human beings naturally, psychologically, like to do what other human beings do. They see somebody doing something, they wanna do that thing. For example, do you remember this video of thousands of people stampeding in Central Park because they saw some Pokemon Go character that didn't even exist, it was just on their phones, and because they saw everybody else doing it, they did it? Or do you remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? Do you realize that 90% of the people that were dumping ice water on themselves had no idea they were doing it for cancer research? They just did it because they saw other people do it. Why do you think people paid $5,000 for a Princess Diana Beanie Baby? Because everybody else was buying Beanie Babies. This is the herd effect, and it's when people see other people do stuff, they want to do that same thing. So when you have a bunch of customers who are on the fence about buying your offer, but then they see other people buy it, they think, well, they're buying it, I gotta buy it. Now you may know this as FOMO, but how do we actually engineer this? Because you can't engineer this on a one-on-one sales call. It's just you and the person, nobody else can see it. So in order to take advantage of this process, you will have to have something to sell. Now, for me, it was an online course. For Hormozi, it was basically an online course in the form of books. He just happened to do printed information products instead of video information products. For you, maybe it's a service, maybe it's a course, maybe it's a stack of books, maybe it's a software. But whatever your business idea is, this is how you are going to smash it. So first thing you need is some sort of free community. Now, you might think, oh, that means like school or a Facebook group. For me back then, it was a Facebook group. And I chose that because it's very easy to get people into a Facebook group. A lot easier than growing on, say, YouTube or Instagram. Hormozi chose the harder way, but the more sustainable way, where he just built followers upon followers upon followers. Facebook groups now are kind of dead, but at the time I did a free community. So I had all these people in a Facebook group. And the way I got them in that Facebook group was I went into other Facebook groups and I just answered questions. Literally 5-6 hours a day, I was answering questions, providing value, posting threads. People would click on my name, go check out my Facebook profile, and of course, right at the top was an invitation to join my Facebook group. So they would join my Facebook group. It grew very rapidly the more popular I got in giving away value in those groups. And I became in demand, as they would say, because if you post enough value in any sort of community for long enough, people will be like, hey, ask Dan, ask Mary, ask Sue. They know a lot about this because they get used to seeing you solve problems. So when someone has a problem, who do they recommend? The problem solver. So that's how I got people into my free Facebook group. You can also do this by, like Hormozi, growing a YouTube channel, growing an Instagram, etc. Next is we have to have some sort of way to get a bunch of people in one spot, sort of like fish in a barrel, and present to them, give value in a controlled way. We call this one-to-many selling, okay? Now, the way that Hormozi did it was he did a one-to-many sales presentation on YouTube Live. For me, I did it on Zoom. So I said to my free community, hey, on this date, I'm gonna go live for an hour on Zoom, and I'm gonna teach you X, Y, and Z. And so that's what I did. I took them to that Zoom room, I taught them X, Y, and Z, and I gave them value. I showed them how to solve a problem. Then I made an offer. Now, Hormozi had an offer, which was his stack of books for $6 grand, or just his regular book for 30 bucks. Mine was a $1,000 online course. Now here's the trick that's gonna make this work, because you might have heard of the first 3 steps, but the last step, this is the sauce. The 4th step is to have a paid community. Now you'll notice this box is a lot smaller than the rest of the boxes. Why? Because the free community is where most people are. A percentage of those, not every single one, is gonna get on your one-to-many presentation. Some of them will be busy, they won't be able to make it at that time, whatever. Of those people on your presentation, your Zoom room, your YouTube Live, whatever, a certain percentage of them will actually want the offer. They'll be interested in the offer. And a certain percentage of them will actually buy the offer. But here's the trick. When they buy the offer, and this is what I did, I was on the Zoom and I just said, hey, if you bought the course, go ahead and go into the free community, make a post and say, hey, Dan, I bought the course. Can you please add me to the paid community? Now, here's what happens. Every time they made that post, I shared my screen and I showed on camera that someone had bought. And everybody else that was watching was like, that person bought? And so then one other person would buy. Oh, that person bought? And the herd effect takes shape. And so the more these people on this presentation see that the people are taking the offer, then you ask them to say, put me in the paid community. It just rolled over and rolled over. It increased and increased. And the amount of people I sold became exponentially higher than it should be. I had 100 people on this one-to-many sales presentation. 48 people bought a $997 course, which is $47,856. There's no possible way I should have been able to have a 48% conversion rate on any sort of sales presentation. That's absurd. The only reason I got that was because I kind of cheated. I showed all the people that were bought. I created and leveraged the herd effect, and they bought. Hormozi did the same thing. Instead of asking them to make a post, he showed a counter on books sold. And as you saw the counter going, you were like, oh my gosh. And it was going super fast, like people are buying, people are buying, people are buying. And so he did it in a different way, but it's the same process. You have some sort of free community. That was his YouTube channels and his socials. He did the YouTube Live. That was his one-to-many sales presentation. He made the offer. That was his stack of books. And then he, instead of the paid community, he put, a countdown timer or a counter with the amount of books he sold. Same concept, different way to do it, but these are the steps. Now, if you're still not clear on how to leverage this for your business, then I'll leave a link in the description where you can register for a 1-hour training where I break this entire thing down and how to leverage it for what you do. See you in the next video.